Son of a Night Fury written by DragonFan 101-10, the final exam after Hiccup, Astrid, Spike and Toothless escaped that scary nest. They flew all the way back to the grove in less than an hour. They all had so much to process after seeing a dragon that huge. It was one of the scariest things they've ever seen, if not the scariest, and they were all trying their best to process it. Spike felt a great level of fear after he saw that thing emerge. He felt like that thing was trying to talk to him in ways, almost like it did to take control of Toothless just before the raid happened. And if it's really the cause of it, then it's all making sense. As they were just making it back to the grove, all of them were talking about the dragon they saw, and how it really is tying all of it together. So if it's really true, that thing's been making all those dragons attack your home countless times, they've all been doing it against their will, just like what happened with my own dad. Spike pointed out while he talked to Astrid about it. I know, when you look at it, it makes complete sense. They're the workers, and that thing's their queen. It's been controlling them this whole time, Astrid said in agreement as they landed down to discuss it a bit more. There's always a bigger threat behind the scenes. Why didn't I think of this sooner? Spike asked himself while Astrid and Hiccup got off of Toothless to get going. I don't know, Spike, but we need to let the others know about this. Come on, Hiccup, let's find your dad, Astrid insisted while she was about to take him back home before he quickly rejected, knowing the risk. No, Astrid, don't. They'll kill Toothless and Spike if they find them here. We need to think this through, carefully, Hiccup warned, which surprised Astrid and left Spike confused, yet could understand the risk of their lives. Hiccup, we just discovered the dragon's nest. The thing we've been after since Vikings first sailed here. And you want to keep it a secret? To protect your pet dragon and a talking dragon like Spike, are you serious? Astrid asked with surprise as Hiccup walked over to Toothless and gently rubbed his head, while Spike looked conflicted on how they could fix this. Yes, Hiccup answered calmly while he turned back to her, leaving her worried on how they're gonna fix this. To be fair, Astrid, if the Vikings found out about me and how I can talk like them, they may see me as a much stranger case than just a usual dragon to kill. This is only getting more complicated as I think about it, Spike said with guilt while he sat down by Toothless to think over it, and Astrid just looked worried on what to do. I guess. Then, what are we gonna do? Astrid asked with worry while they tried finding a way to figure this out too. I don't know, give me till tomorrow, I'll figure something out, Hiccup said as Spike and Toothless went back a bit to let them talk, and they took that time to get some water during it. Okay, Astrid replied before she suddenly gave his arm a punch for earlier. That's for kidnapping me, Astrid said as the three of them looked surprised for that, but what caught all of them off guard was when Astrid suddenly pulled Hiccup in and gave him a quick kiss on the cheek before pulling away, surprising them even more. That's for everything else, Astrid repeated while she started to run off back home to think over this, and Hiccup soon looked back at Toothless and Spike, who both had smug looks seeing it. Oh, what are you two looking at? Hiccup asked with an annoyed look while Spike chuckled a bit and nudged his arm. I think someone has a crush, Spike said in a teasing voice which made Hiccup roll his eyes. Oh yeah, real mature, Spike, come on, Hiccup said sarcastically while Toothless looked at Spike. He totally does have one on her, Toothless joked, which made Spike chuckle even more hearing that while Hiccup was confused. What did he say? Hiccup asked with confusion while he saw the two dragons chuckling at him, and it just made Hiccup groan a bit, knowing they'll do this more than he thinks. But after they started to calm down, they began looking back on what just happened, and tried finding out what to do about it. So, how are we gonna stop that huge dragon? Is there any way we could convince the Vikings we're friendly? Spike asked with concern while he laid down by Toothless to talk over it. I don't know, Spike, we've been at war with the dragons for a very long time. This discovery with the dragon's nest changes everything. If we defeat that monster, or free the other dragons, then it's possible we could finally bring an end to it, maybe even helping them see you too, and other dragons the way I do now, Hiccup suggested, which was hard to figure out. But if it really wasn't their fault, then maybe your father will come to an understanding. I know with what you've described about him, it may not help him see it yet, but if we find a way to show him, and your entire village, we could stop this, Spike said hopefully, which they all agreed on. I think I may have a way to stop this, but I'll need to do it in front of the whole village, in my exam tomorrow. That may be my only shot, but if you get any ideas let me know, Spike. We can't let them suffer any longer, Hiccup suggested while he started to turn back to head home. We'll find a way, Hiccup. That monster made my dad attack the village, along with all those other dragons, and we'll find a way to stop it for good. Just be careful in your exam tomorrow, okay? Spike asked hopefully while Hiccup looked back at them one last time before he left. Okay. You two be safe. I'll see you soon, I promise," Hiccup assured before he began running off back home to prepare for his big day tomorrow, and the two of them were left alone once again. "Do you really think he'll be able to find a way to convince them, son? To help find a way to stop all of this?" Toothless asked as they curled up and tried to sleep for tonight. "I think so, Dad. He was able to earn our trust and help you fly again. If he can do that, I'm positive he'll find a way. Let's just hold on to hope he'll find a way." Spike prayed while he yawned a bit and began falling asleep. "I hope so too. Good night, son," Toothless said softly before he put his wing over him, and they both slept the night away. "Good night, Dad," Spike said with a soft smile while he finally fell asleep after this long day, and hope tomorrow will finally help end all of it. And tomorrow came pretty fast. As we cut to the next day, all of Berk was gathered at the ring to watch Hiccup's exam. They were all super excited and anticipating how Hiccup will defeat the monstrous nightmare, and as the crowd of villagers cheered as Stoic came out to show himself, he felt super proud and prideful to see this day come. "Well, I can show my face in public again," Stoic announced jokingly, which made some of the other Vikings laugh too, hearing that before they started to quiet down. If someone had told me that in a few short weeks, Hiccup would go from being, well, Hiccup, to place first in dragon training, then I would have tied him to a mast and shipped him off, fearing he'd gone mad, Stoic announced to the whole village, who cheered hearing T-Hat. "And you know it. But, here we are. And no one is more surprised or more proud than I am," Stoic continued as Hiccup could hear this from the entrance to the ring, holding the helmet he was given, and taking in the time he has left before it begins. "Today, my boy becomes a Viking. Today, he becomes one of us," Stoic announced in a serious yet proud tone, which the village cheered at yet again, and Astrid has soon come up to him to talk with him one more time before he goes in. "Be careful with that dragon," Astrid warned as Hiccup kept looking up at Stoic. "It's not the dragon that I'm worried about," Hiccup replied as Stoic went to take his seat. "What are you gonna do?" Astrid asked with concern while he turned back to her. "Put an end to this. I have to try. And Astrid, if something goes wrong in there, just make sure they don't find Toothless and Spike," Hiccup requested, which she agreed with. "I will, just promise me it won't go wrong," Astrid replied just as they saw Gobber come up to them to get it going. "It's time, Hiccup, knock 'em dead," Gobber said with a smile, which made Hiccup begin to walk out into the ring. As he put his helmet on, he could hear the countless cheers for him as he stepped into the ring. This was his only chance to try and convince them all of what he's learned. As the gates closed, he went over to the weapons to get only a shield and a small dagger, which did confuse a few Vikings. I would have gone for the hammer," Stoic commented as Hiccup went to the front of the gate, and he took a deep breath and braced himself for this dragon he's gonna face. "I'm ready," Hiccup said honestly while he prepared for the worst, finally beginning his exam. The gates slowly begin to open up while everyone waits with bated breaths, and the doors soon burst open in an explosion of fire. From it emerges the monstrous nightmare, a large, deadly dragon that could set its body on fire like every other one of its type. It roared with fury and shot a powerful blast through the chains surrounding the ring, which melted through it. No one got hurt from it, but only made them more excited to see the battle happen. The dragon soon saw Hiccup standing before him and crawled back down from the walls, growling menacingly and slowly marching to him for the kill. And as the villagers encouraged him to fight it, Hiccup tried using the skills he's learned to tame it. Hiccup slowly began to drop his weapons and put his guard down as the dragon marched to him, confusing the whole village. "What is he doing?" Stoic questioned while some of the crowd gasped seeing it. "It's okay. It's okay," Hiccup assured with a calm tone while the dragon looked more calm than before, and Hiccup soon took off his helmet and looked up at the crowd looking down at them. "I'm not one of them," Hiccup declared before he dropped the helmet on the ground, and it made the entire village gasp with fear and shock hearing that, and Stoic was getting upset hearing him say that. "Stop the fight," Stoic ordered before Hiccup tried to show them what he's learned. "No, you all need to see this. They're not what we think they are. We don't have to kill them," Hiccup announced calmly as he was about to place his hand on it, and it made a ton of the Vikings concerned and confused seeing it, but Stoic was only getting more mad as he heard it. "I said stop the fight," Stoic screamed while he slammed his hammer on the metal bars, and the sound unfortunately caused the dragon to react in a bad way. Its eyes narrowed and began growling more with anger, which ruined what Hiccup tried to show. Hiccup yelped as the thing almost clawed his hand, and he began running away as it started shooting fire at him, making Hiccup scream in terror from it. Spike and Toothless were still resting in the grove, but something suddenly woke them up and alerted them. They could feel something bad was happening, and they both had the same idea on why, and already felt fear from it. "Hiccup!" They both shouted at once before they got up and began running to the way out. Come on, let's hurry. Spike shouted as he got on Toothless and used the device Hiccup made to help Toothless fly, and he quickly took off into the skies as fast as he could to save him. Hiccup was running as fast as he could from the dragon, who was completely out of control, and Stoic didn't waste another second to get him out of there. "Out of my way," Stoic ordered while he began running to the entrance. "Hiccup!" Astrid screamed with fear just as she looked to a wall and took a spare axe that was on display. She used it to crack open the gate so she could crawl through it to save them. All the while, Spike and Toothless were making their way through the skies as fast as possible. Hiccup screamed as he barely dodged a fire blast from it and went over to the weapons. He tried grabbing a shield to protect himself, but the dragon rushed through the thing, making him stumble over while screaming. Stoic quickly went over to the doors and used his strength to rush in to save them. "Hiccup!" Astrid screamed again while she looked at the weapons, and quickly took the hammer and threw it directly in its face, which got its attention, making it only more angry after she did that. The dragon began chasing the both of them just as Stoic managed to lift open the gates for them to escape. "This way!" Stoic screamed, which made the two run towards it, but while Astrid managed to make it to Stoic just in time, the dragon shot a blast in between Hiccup and the entrance, which made him run in a different direction. Hiccup tried running as fast as he could, but the dragon soon pinned him down with his claws and snarled with anger. But a familiar screech began to be heard across the entire place, and as everyone looked in the skies, they were shocked to see two dragons fly in directly to the ring and shoot a powerful blast through it to get inside, completely shocking the whole village. "Leave him alone!" A voice screamed, which confused most of the village on where it came from, and as the dust was settling, they could see two dragons fighting the monstrous nightmare off to protect Hiccup, a Night Fury, and a strange green and purple dragon who was trying to push the thing off of Toothless. "Night Fury!" Gobber said with surprise on seeing it in full, while most of the village was in shock. Spike growled as he grabbed the other dragon's jaw and used his strength to throw him off Toothless like a ragdoll, which surprised the village, and what shocked them even more is that he got on two legs and took one of the larger hammers from the weapons, not even caring that the whole village is seeing him. "Back off!" Spike screamed while he charged at the dragon and delivered a hard strike to its face, and he started to repeatedly hit it while Toothless roared and stood in front of Hiccup to protect him. "Did that dragon just speak?" Fishlegs asked with disbelief, while the other kids and Vikings couldn't believe it either. "He can stand on two legs too. Look!" Snotlout shouted as Spike ran towards the dragon like a Viking would, and they saw him make a loud battle cry before he threw the hammer away and shot another plasma blast, which knocked it back to the walls. Spike soon ran to Hiccup and stood alongside Toothless against the monstrous nightmare, both of them making a loud roar at it to make it back off, and knowing it's outmatched, it finally began to run off after they saved him. But they didn't have any time to rest right now, knowing who else is watching them. "Alright, Spike, get Toothless out of here now," Hiccup warned while they saw all the other Vikings begin jumping down and making battle cries while charging to them. "We can't. There's not enough time," Spike shouted back while he braced himself for a fight, but once they saw Stoic take an axe and charge towards Toothless, it made him and Astrid try to stop him from doing anything awful. "No, Dad. They won't hurt you. Stop!" Hiccup screamed just as Toothless' eyes went narrow and he growled with anger before he ran directly towards him, knocking down any Viking coming in his way. "Dad! Stop! Don't!" Spike screamed while he barely avoided an axe swing from another Viking before he jumped in the air and kicked him in the jaw, which knocked him far away. But Toothless didn't listen and lunged at Stoic before pinning him down, almost looking like he was about to hit him with another blast. "Toothless, stop!" Hiccup begged as Toothless began to charge up a blast that could kill him with one hit. "No! No!" Hiccup screamed as Toothless almost shot at him, but hearing Hiccup's scream made him stop before he turned to him, who looked terrified, and even Spike had trouble processing it. "Dad!" Spike said with a regretful look while they stayed silent for a moment, but they couldn't say anything before the Vikings started to overwhelm them, no matter how much they tried to hold them back. "Get them!" A Viking screamed before hit Toothless in the hammer and grabbed his head to get him off of Stoic. Spike tried to save him, but he got tackled down by multiple Vikings who pinned his body down with their strength. No, stop. Don't hurt them," Hiccup begged while he tried to stop them, but Astrid held him back to prevent him from hurting himself any further. "Please don't hurt them," Hiccup begged while looking super regretful for this, and Stoic finally was able to get up, and he looked towards Spike and Toothless, who couldn't fight back anymore. "Put them with the others," Stoic ordered with an angry look, and that made the other Vikings take them to separate cages to be put away, and for Spike, he got put in the same cage as the monstrous nightmare, but even with being stuck at the same cage as it, Spike isn't gonna let its appearance scare him. And Stoic soon turned to Hiccup, who looked very scared on how to explain things, and he soon took him back to the halls to discuss things. Hiccup knew Stoic was very mad with him right now, and he couldn't find a way to explain things currently. I should have known, I should have seen the sights, Stoic said with frustration while he slammed the doors shut and began pacing around the room. Dad, listen, Hiccup begged while Stoic didn't listen to him right now. We had a deal, Stoic reminded sternly while Hiccup tried finding something to explain this. I know, but that was before it's all so messed up, Hiccup told himself with a frustrated look before Stoic finally looked at him for questions. So everything in the ring? A trick? A lie? Stoic asked accusingly while feeling betrayed by what he did earlier. I screwed up, I should have told you before this, but you can take this out on me, you can be mad at me, but please, just don't hurt Toothless and Spike, Hiccup begged, which baffled him hearing it. Those dragons, that's what you're worried about, not the people you almost got killed, Stoic shouted while Hiccup tried arguing back. They were just protecting me, Dad. They're not dangerous, Hiccup argued back before Stoic kept on arguing with him. They've killed hundreds of us, Stoic argued again while Hiccup looked extremely desperate right now. And we've killed thousands of them. They defend themselves, that's all, Hiccup countered again, making Stoic brush it off before pacing around a bit, and Hiccup tried to argue against him on what he found out last night. They raid us because they have to. If they don't bring enough food back, they'll be eaten themselves. There's something else on their island, Dad. It's a dragon-like, Hiccup argued before Stoic stopped him, getting interest once he mentioned where they are. Their island? So you've been to the nest? Stoic asked in an angry tone, making Hiccup stutter a bit. Did I just say nest? Hiccup asked nervously while he stood over him with an upset look. How did you find it? Stoic questioned while Hiccup looked very afraid to tell him this. What? No, that wasn't me, Toothless did. Only a dragon could find the island, Hiccup answered nervously, and as he saw Stoic get a really stupid idea, Hiccup dreaded on what he was thinking right now. No, Dad, please don't. It's not like you think, it's like nothing you've ever seen. Please, I promise you, you can't win this one, Hiccup begged while Stoic pushed him aside to get ready to leave, and Hiccup had enough with how much he's ignored him for his entire life. For once in your life, would you please just listen to me? Hiccup shouted in a desperate voice before Stoic finally turned to him and looked disgusted in him. You've thrown your lot in with them. You're not a Viking, and you're not my son, Stoic said with a disgraceful look before he finally began to leave, and Hiccup was left devastated hearing that. Ready the ships, Stoic shouted to the other Vikings outside before he closed the door on him, but as he was leaving, Stoic took a moment to reflect on what he said, and actually looked regretful for it for just a moment. But he soon started to leave to finish this once and for all. Every single Viking in Berk began to load up the ships with heavy weapons and hundreds of soldiers, like they were all going to war to finish things with the dragons. And as much as he hated it, Hiccup could only watch with guilt as he saw Toothless be chained up and was being loaded onto one of the many boats surrounding the docks. Spike was still locked in the cage with the monstrous nightmare, and he prays he's holding his own in there. Hiccup looked down at the Vikings loading up, all looking ready to go, and Hiccup only felt fear and regret knowing that they're heading for something that may get them all killed. Set sail. We head for Helheim's Gate, Stoic ordered as Toothless was lowered down on the boat he was on and couldn't break free. Stoic looked over to Hiccup, who was watching them all prepare to leave, and he soon turned away as all the Vikings got in every ship there was, and began sailing off to finish things. Lead us home, devil, Stoic said sternly to Toothless, who looked down with shame for what's happening. The most he regrets for this is getting his son harmed like this, and he only prayed he'll find a way out of it. Please try to hold on, son, Toothless prayed as all the ships took off, Hiccup not moving from his spot, and he just stood there, watching all of them leave. Hiccup felt like he was there for an hour after every single Viking left, only he and the other kids were left behind while they went out to fight. Hiccup felt regret and guilt for the spot Toothless and Spike were in. If they end up facing that huge dragon, it could get Toothless and everyone else killed, and Spike would be left alone. Toothless was the only person in his life who raised and cared for him, and if he's gone, he's not sure what he'll do. As Hiccup looked over the seas after they all left, Astrid came up to him looking just as regretful for it. Berk hasn't felt this empty before in their entire lives, and Hiccup only blamed himself for it. It's a mess, you must feel horrible, you've lost everything. Your father, your tribe, your best friends, Astrid listed out, which Hiccup didn't want to hear right now. Thank you for summing that up, Hiccup said sarcastically while he felt regret for what's happened. Why couldn't I have killed the two of them in the woods? It would have been easier for everyone. Hiccup questioned while looking at Astrid, who didn't hesitate to answer. Yeah, the rest of us would have done it. So why didn't you? Astrid questioned while looking at him, only getting silence in response as he tried thinking over it. Why didn't you? Astrid asked again while Hiccup tried finding an answer. I don't know. I couldn't. Hiccup replied, which she didn't believe. That's not an answer, Astrid pointed out, making Hiccup more frustrated. Why is this so important to you all of a sudden? Hiccup asked while he looked back at her. Because I want to remember what you say, right now, Astrid answered, which upset him a bit. Oh, for the love of, I was a coward. I was weak. I wouldn't kill 2 dragons when I had the chance. Hiccup argued again, making Astrid notice something else he said. You said wouldn't that time, Astrid pointing out, upsetting him even more. Whatever, I wouldn't. 300 years, and I'm the first Viking who wouldn't kill 2 dragons. Hiccup argued again while he quickly started to calm down, and Astrid began pointing out something that was important. First to ride one though. The first to become friends with, possibly the only talking dragon in the whole world, one who was raised by a night fury. The same one you became friends with, Astrid said calmly while Hiccup looked back on when he met the 2 of them. I wouldn't kill them, because they were just as frightened as I was. I looked at them, and I saw myself. Hiccup answered while looking regretful for them. I bet you they're both frightened now. Spike's been locked with that monstrous nightmare. I just hope he's holding things together because of that. Astrid prayed, since they weren't exactly on the best terms right now. What are you gonna do to help them? Astrid asked with concern while Hiccup thought over it, and he had an idea that might work. Probably something stupid, Hiccup answered with a casual look, and Astrid only smiled a bit hearing it. Okay, but you've already done that, Astrid reminded while Hiccup came up with something that would work. Then something crazy. Come on, let's get Spike out of that cage, Hiccup said as he began running off, and Astrid had a good feeling on what he wanted to do. That's more like it, Astrid said in a joking tone before she headed after him. They needed to hurry before the Vikings faced that huge dragon, and Hiccup had a perfect plan for how they can do it. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and leave a comment and share it with a friend. See you all later.